Shadow work / parts work, what is it? Hi, I'm Megan. I'm a business mentor for successful business owners and leaders who are ready to scale or completely pivot depending on their need. But they want to do it sustainably, safely, and ultimately successfully and aligned. So, shadow work / parts work. We avoid this at all costs. Most of the time we suppress it. What it is it's speaking and bringing to the forefront those parts of us that we are ashamed of, that we feel guilty about, that we're embarrassed of, that we want to avoid at all costs. It's the stuff about ourselves that we don't like or that we just don't want to face. Everyone has them. There is not anyone that doesn't have these dark spaces within us. We all have them. Some of us are better at hiding it than others. What happens when you hide and avoid from these different pieces of us is that they will come out in ways and places that really aren't good for us. And that then creates this knock-on effect of more guilt, of more shame. In business, this can be detrimental to our business, our health, and the health and well-being of our staff team and our families. This doesn't just impact us. So, parts work is facing those things and going in deep to face them, to bring them up to the forefront so that they get time to breathe. And ultimately, the reason why they are there is to protect us, to keep us safe, to keep us small, to keep us quiet. And they can be different things for different people. There's never one person that's got the same these dark parts of us, because we've all been brought up differently. We've all lived different lives. We've all been in different shoes. What parts work does is, like I said, it gives it space. We open it up and understand why it's there and what it's trying to do. But we also bring it to the awareness of the person that it is in. Because if they understand why it's there, they can give it a nod and say, I understand why you're there. I understand why you're showing up, but I'm not going to allow you to stop me anymore. The difference is with kind of like, oh yeah, I think sometimes I can be a bit of a dick, or I can be a bit of a twat, or I can be a bit grumpy, or I can be a bit over the top, or I can be a bit aggressive, defensive. Then we start creating our personality based on that. So we then move forward into these spaces, kind of just accepting that those things come out of us. But then what we do is we go into the wrong spaces and we attract the wrong things because we just put it down to an area of our personality. It doesn't have to be like that. We can be the person we want to be, but we have to face every single part of us. There cannot be light without dark. We have to balance them and bring them in to balance in order to be able to move forward without any restrictions. For example, when I done shadow work, there was a lot with me that was assertiveness, right? That assertiveness used to come out, and I still am, but don't get me wrong, from the people who watch my videos, you're gonna know I'm pretty assertive, but I was being assertive in spaces that probably weren't good for me. The reason my assertiveness was there was because I never, and this is like facing, when I went down to face all of these kind of shadow parts of myself, the reason my assertiveness was there was because I never felt heard when I was younger. I never felt heard, I never felt respected, and I always felt like I needed to put on this kind of assertive bravado in every space so that people didn't take the mick out of me. But then that came up into my older life, and then I would go home and be assertive, for example. And it's not, assertiveness isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but that was something that was stopping me from building those close relationships and being able to be softer when I needed to be softer. So going home to my partner and I used to be assertive and he used to say to me, you're not my boss. That's the things he used to say to me, and that's why, because I would be assertive, because I'd be like, I don't and this thing come out. I didn't really know why, but I wouldn't soften to certain things, and that didn't do my relationship any good. Assertiveness in the workspace, absolutely. it keeps me, that's a right place for me to be assertive. But back at home with my partner, not all of the time. But I needed to face that. I needed to realize, because I was like, well, like, that's just me. I'm just very assertive. You need to take me as I am. But it's kind of, that is me in the workplace, and I need to be assertive in order to get certain responses and be able to tell people and give people direction in a very clear and precise way. I did not, however, need to do that when my dinner wasn't on the table at a certain time. So it's about, that's a simple one, but they go very, very dark, very, very extreme, and you need to face them. You need to bring them to light so that you are in balance. Otherwise, you'll constantly be suppressing. They'll come up and pop out in ways and means that you really don't want, and that's actually can impact you so negatively. But this isn't just impacting you. And people who, with the shadow work, I haven't got time to do that. I haven't got time to work on myself. I need to work on my business. I've got more important things to do. If you don't work on yourself, you are not the only one impacted. Ask your partner, ask your kids, ask your colleagues. Some of them may tell you, some of them may not, but you will know by how they act towards you. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm just that way, I just want to put that down, it's not going to come out anywhere, you're wrong. It's going to. And it's going to create the worst possible outcome if you don't do it.